Hello, everyone out there, and hello, Angela. Thank you for joining me again here today, and thank you to all you out there joining us here in the Switcher Studio 101 group. We're going to start making a thing out of this where you all can come in here and ask us any questions you have about Switcher Studio. Hopefully, also, we'll be able to give you a few tips and tricks or just help you get started with Switcher Studio. So, please, as we go along here, ask all your questions in the comments, or if you just want to say, hey, tell us where you're watching from, throw that in the comments as well. So here, let me do this. Let me do some fun switcher things.
Official names.
Yeah, we got our lower thirds here. We've got video chat going. The new backgrounds. I hope everyone's enjoying that with the new update of Switcher Studio. You can see instead of just a black or straight up color, we have a fun gradient here. So the switchers, thank you to our team member Chelsea for making these for us to use.
Chelsea.
Yeah, so before we get into our tip of the week that I'll have Angela kind of go through us, I just want to let everyone know again, please let us know any questions you have in the comments. We're here to answer those with you all right now, so it's a great way to get live answers from us. Also, if you do have questions or you're watching this after the fact, you can still ask them there. You can also check out our help center at support.switcherstudio.com. And if all that fails, you can also, of course, email us at support@switcherstudio.com. And, Angela and I are two of the people you'll probably be talking to in there. So the last one of these we did, Angela, we kind of showed you the basics. Here's how to go live to Facebook. Because, that's one of the scariest things, right? Just pushing the button and going live and making sure it's working and going well. So I figured the next thing, now that we know how to go live, maybe go through the Switcher Studio interface and show everyone what buttons do what and what all is possible with Switcher. So should I do the fancy one here and show the UI twice for you?
You should do the fancy one. That way they have a close-up of the screen and they get to watch what we're pointing at.
Yeah, so I'm going to let Angela talk here a sec. I'm going to set up another multi-view, and we'll have another. I've got a camera pointing at this camera right here. Actually, is pointing at an iPad, and we got that screen shared as well. So we'll let both those go, and yeah, when you open Switcher, this is the first thing you're going to see. So Angela, I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, so we've got, of course, our two screens. The one on the upper left, you see Dan's hand. He's going to show you what to point at. On the upper right is just, the UI. So you'll see exactly what you'll be seeing on your end. So again, this is the Outputs tab. When you first, sign in to Switcher Studio, tap on Use a Switcher. This is what you see on your main switching device. And for those of you who watched the last one, you'll recognize some of this because this is how you start to go live, whether it's to Facebook or anything else. So this is your Outputs tab. We're going to get into that in a little bit. Over on the left-hand side of the screen is the Sources window. This is where you have your camera sources, your assets, everything like that. Friendly reminder, you can reorganize your assets. So those are your images and video. Your cameras will connect they will show in the order they were connected. So the first one you connect is number 1, the second one number 2. There's not a way to change that, so do keep that in mind. And we're going to go over the very top really quick. So up in the top right corner, you have, we're going to go ahead and tap on that top right button. We're going to have our menu option.
Oh, you want this one?
I was going to do the menu.
Yeah, there
you go. So if you want to find out where your recordings are, you can go there. That's also a quick, easy way to go back to your home screen. So after that, if you tap the eye with a circle around it, that's also in the top left. This is your info panel. So it's going to show you all of your devices connected. Right now, you're just seeing one because we only have the one iPad. But if you had multiple cameras or screen shared sources, they would show too. So it's showing what the audio is. It shows your battery level, it shows your usage level, and it's showing your CPU usage, or basically how hard your device is working. So if you're wondering how much battery does one of my cameras have, or am I about to run out of power. You can, or storage, you can check that there. Up kind of in the middle.
Really quick, let me pop in, Angela, if you don't mind. This
Yeah.
eye, if while you're live, it notices that one of your devices is running out of storage, the load's getting too heavy, or the battery's low, that will actually change to yellow. So it'll be a bright yellow to let you know that you need to check it and maybe plug in one of those devices or start coming up with a plan to drop that camera if it runs out of storage.
Yeah, and that's another good point. If you know you're going to run out of storage, it's best to go ahead and drop the camera early. So just lose that source, and then you can, scuttle over if you want, find a way to plug it in, and you can always re-add that camera later. We'll show you that on the Inputs tab in just a moment. So in the middle at the top, we have a set of 3 icons. 2 are grayed out because right now we don't have this iPad's camera on. But that
Here, I'll
first
turn
one
it
with
on. It'll be a terrible view of just the table in front, but
Oh, we're gonna get your face in a second if you tap one of the buttons. So now those are lit up. So the one on the left in the middle is a camera icon with an arrow. That's how you can flip between front and rear camera. There's Dan. Also, you can adjust your autofocus. So if you notice, it seems like one of your cameras is popping or constantly adjusting, changing focus. It normally means you have autofocus on. You can disable it by tapping up there. So you've got your static shot. You've also got our share button. We're going to go ahead and tap on that, which is our last one in the middle. This is kind of an easy way to share where, you can advertise your stream. So next to that, we have what we call a VU meter. This shows the audio. So again, there's not a lot of sound in the studio right now, but if you make a bunch of noise like this, you can see it going a lot crazier. We want it to be in that upper green, lower yellow for best results. If you're hitting the red, it's too loud. It's going to sound bad to your audience. If it's barely green, it's too soft. You're going to need that louder. And next to that, the little microphone is how you mute it. So if you tap that, that's how you mute your audio. Just so you know, that's for muting the microphone. So if you play a video that has sound, it's still going to have sound right now, but you just won't hear your voice. So that's a good way if you have a long video to mute it, and then you can talk to maybe someone in the room and then unmute it when it's time to go live again. So here you can see the video's audio still playing, even though our mic is muted. And then the last couple of things up at the top, you see the live and record. So of course, when you go live, that's going to light up. It's going to show you how long you've been live. And then of course, our big red button is how to actually go live. So that the top of this is very important. You're going to use these things a lot. We're going to go over.
Yeah, that's why we put them up there, just so they'd be easy access. You can get to a lot of these same things other places down there, but yeah, just putting them up there. Those are the ones you're going to use a lot. I also want to mention really quick that just for you all to see it as well, this iPad is actually running a trial version of Switcher. So I want everyone to know that everything's there when you log in and start trying Switcher out, even if you're just on trial.
Yeah, you'll have access to most features on a trial. We want you to test those out before you select which plane you need, just so you know what you need and what you don't. So the Outputs tab itself, we've already, kind of gone over. It's how you select your sources. You can also drag on that. So you can turn on director mode, which is a way to get, a 4K recording or a 1080p recording that has no interference. It's pristine. It's going to trigger a recording on all of your cameras. Maybe we'll do a more in-depth discussion of director mode in a future stream.
Yeah, the quick answer to that is lets you stream at a lower quality and still have a really high quality recording afterwards.
Yeah, it's great, but it is kind of a tutorial in itself. You've also got a way to change some settings. You can optimize your connection. Sometimes we'll ask you guys to do that when you write in support. So you can see.
I'll be honest, the Outputs tab could be an entire video all on its own.
Oh, yeah, we can really get into some of those menus, especially if you have director mode on or if you've had, some lag or dropped frames. There's a lot of really good stuff in this tab for you. So at the bottom, you can see how, the icon is lit up. Oh, yay, interface, perfect. And that just means the output tab is selected. So the tab to the left of it that looks like a camera, that's going to be your input. So this is how you control your camera. Your built-in camera's at the top. We saw Dan toggle that on a little bit ago. And below that, it says devices on your Wi-Fi network. So any, iOS 13 device, iPad, iPhone that has Switcher Studio and is on your Wi-Fi network, as well as, any Macs or PCs that have screen sharing going with SwitcherCast, those will show up here. All you have to do is tap on one of those sources' names, and it's going to connect to the camera for that source. From there, you can also choose front and rear camera. You can change what lens it's using. You can also drop cameras like this too. We mentioned dropping a camera. You just tap on its name again, and then the camera goes away.
I'll add my iPhone that, yeah. Here's mine. all those other ones are being used, so I can't connect to them, but here's another one for you. We'll do it live.
There we go. So now we can see there's a second camera in the sources menu. It says number 2, and Dan can tap that camera icon to toggle it back and forth. So that changes the view you guys are using. So very easy to connect a camera. And again, for those remote cameras, you don't sign into Switcher Studio. You just simply open the app, make sure it's on the same Wi-Fi network. You can tap share this device, and you are good to go. So inputs and outputs are 2 major tabs you're going to use, especially, when you first get started with Switcher Studio. But from there, you can get a little more advanced. So the first tab to the right from outputs, we're going to go ahead and tap on that. There we go. So this is how you do a lot of your transitions. So people want to know, instead of just a straight cut, which is the one we have right now, they want to do something like a cross dissolve or wipe. So you can change them like this. You'll also see they have arrows next to them. If you tap on one of those arrows, you can change, the duration, so how long the transition takes. It can change the direction it goes in, so it can wipe in diagonally if that's what you want to do. The color, you have a lot of functionality. This is also one of the many ways to set up multi-views, which is how you can get multiple cameras on the screen at once. So if you scroll down, you can do this. There's a few ways to set up multi-views, but this is one of the ways. This was the original way. And again, you can set up how they look with the arrows to the side. So again, you start with cut and with no multi-view, but you can change them with this tab. So we're going to go to the next tab over. And now we have our camera controls. So this is how, you can toggle whether you want zoom enabled on a camera. You can also change, some really awesome things, especially for those of you who are used to DSLR. So you can make the focus, just like how we went over the autofocus earlier, you can change it on and off that way. You can also do manual focus to change what's in view, what's not in view. You can adjust the exposure to make things lighter and darker. You can change the white balance, and that changes, basically how blue things are, how red things are for each camera. You can also toggle on an LED light, which is really cool for people in the studio. It makes your little flashlight on your camera light up to show which camera is currently in use, so people know which camera to look at. And you can choose whether or not stabilization is on. And you can do these for your remote cameras as well. So a lot of people, when they get started, they're running from camera to camera as they're live making these adjustments. You can do it all from this one device. You tap on the camera source that you want to adjust, and then you can make these adjustments here. So very cool, very easy to do. From there, we're going to move one more over to the right and get into our audio. So this shows you what is connected with audio. By default, of course, it's the built-in mic of the main device. just so everyone knows, the audio source is your main switching device. Your remote cameras are visual aids. They do not transmit their audio. So do keep that in mind. But this will show you what is connected. So you can tap on, the icon next to it, and this allows you to make some adjustments to like the decibel volume and everything to make it louder. You can also mute from this tab as well. But if you're using an external audio source, this is really cool because instead of built-in microphone, it'll show you what is connected. So that way you can make sure what you think you're using is actually what you're using at that time. And again, you've got the VU meter to make sure it's loud enough, soft enough, things like that. You can also enable audio monitoring, which is really nice to use with headphones. You can toggle that on and off based on your preference and what you need to do. So that's the audio tab. From there, we're going to move another one over. Where's the magic finger? So this is your face. You are fine. So this is Facebook polling. This is one of our features on a trial and also for the standard and plus plans. So this way, if you want to do a poll for your audience, you can load them up here. You can also preload these in before you go live. So this way you can see what your results are from here instead of having to run to a different device and check those out. So pretty easy, pretty self-explanatory, one of our newer features. We also have chat. This is available for all plans and for your trial. So as you're live on Facebook, whether it's through our app or through RTMP with our app, you'll see comments as they come in as well as reactions. So once you know you should have started getting comments by now, you would tap on load. And it's going to start showing you, how many likes you have, how many laugh reacts you have. Tom Jones said this. So that way you can see these while you're live and respond to them. Again, something we see in support for people who are just getting started with live video is they will ask, how do you type a response? There is not a way to do that. It's usually not recommended for any live video, including with Switcher Studio. When you see that, you want to respond verbally, and you'll see in a couple of minutes when we get done with this how we respond to comments as well. So you'll be able to see them and respond verbally. So the next tab over, we're going to get into our video chat.
And before we do, I just saw a comment come through from Benjamin asking, so all the cameras must be on the same Wi-Fi. And that's correct if you wanted to be here. However, Angela and I are on two different locations completely. I don't know, probably 10 or so miles away from each other. Video chat is the way you can do that. So, yeah, just wanted to, answer one of those questions as we're going. So
yeah,
here's
perfect timing for a question. So yeah, video chat allows you to bring in, remote guests from other locations. This doesn't just have to be same city like Dan and I. You can literally bring in people from other countries. So of course for that, you're not on the same network. You just send out a video chat link. They join your video chat room and you're able to have an interview kind of conversation like we're having right now. What you can do with this depends on what plan you have with us. So if you're on the Essentials plan, you can have one guest at a time. So you can always, wait till a guest leaves and bring another one in. If you want to, you can do multi-view effects. Right now we've got, a setup here, and you get 300 minutes for your Essentials plan. So you can use that many each month. After that, with standard, you can have 2 simultaneous guests. So again, if one leaves, another new person can join, and there's unlimited video chat time. And for the plus plan, I know we just increased it. I think we're at 4 right now, simultaneous guests, and that is also unlimited video chat time. So again, how many guests you have, how long you can use it each month depends on what plan you're on. But this is a way to bring in someone who's not in your home, especially with what's going on with COVID. We've seen people just do this with neighbors where they're just not in the same house. So keep this in mind. If you have a camera source where you just want a camera It does have to be on the same Wi-Fi network. But if you want to bring someone in via their webcam, we've seen people actually do this where they point the webcam at something going on location. You can use video chat for that. There is a way to do it through the dashboard. That was the original way. Now it's through the app as well. So you can do this all through the app. It's a lot more streamlined. That should probably be another stream we do at some point, all about video
Absolutely.
chat. Because again, that like director mode is a tutorial in itself. So we've got just looks like one more tab for you guys. This is going to be the scoreboard. So this is really great if you do a lot of sporting events or something. It's fully customizable, so you can adjust, the team names, team colors, whether it's horizontal or vertical on your screen, whether it's displayed or not displayed. You have this available on a trial. After a trial, this is available on the standard plan and the plus plan. So if you do need scoreboard, make sure you go to one of those plans. And then the last icon that you have shows 3 little dots, and this is how you can adjust what is shown. So, let's say you want to clear up your tabs at the bottom and you never go live to Facebook. You could choose to get rid of the Facebook polling. If you never use a scoreboard, you can get rid of that. If you just want to rearrange things for how they're shown, if you want that video chat tab way up high, you can do that. So you can really make things the way you want. Removal, of course, is tapping the red minus. You can add them back with the green plus. So you can customize your tabs to fit what you need to do. We've seen people, with all of them. We've seen people with 2, if that's all they really need. And of course, once you're done, you just close that. But that is your iPad UI.
Yes, I'm going to switch over. Angela, that was a lot of talking, but that was really good. So yeah, that's the iPad. Yeah, that's the iPad UI. Maybe soon we'll do the iPhone. Maybe next week. That could be one we do. Talking about some of those. So as always, we're trying to give you guys tips and tricks as we go live with these, but also want to answer your questions. And I saw some great questions come through the comments. Please continue asking us any questions as we're doing this here. So let's just go straight down the list here. I see Pamela asking, hello, I have an iPhone, iPad, and MacBook Air. I am seriously 101. That's you're in the perfect group then. I have all the apps downloaded. From which device do I log into my Facebook group and go live? Whatever device is acting as the main switcher. For most people, that's going to be the iPad. So I would run Switcher Studio on the iPad. That's the one you're going to log into. Please know that you don't have to log into every single device. Only the device that you're going live from needs to be logged in. Your remote cameras just have to have Switcher downloaded, connected to the same Wi-Fi, and have Switcher open, and it'll show up in that list that Angela showed, and you'll be able to go live with that. I see here's a good question for when are we going to add scrolling lower thirds. It's something that we've seen that come up a few times, and that's a great option. And please feel free to email us any of your feature requests, and we'll make sure that the engineers and will see that and as a possibility. Right now, you can get creative with it. And here, let me. How do I want to show this? I'm going to, Angela, you're going to go away for a second.
Goodbye.
I'll go here. So how we've seen people actually do this with the lower thirds is they'll come in, do a multi-view effect, and we'll do the split screen. We'll adjust it like so, and then the separated position. This is where you have to kind of play around with it. And get it kind of towards the bottom. And so with a multi-view like this, we can come in and choose we'll just pretend as our camera or our video here. We'll do this for A, and B will be this. Oh, that's not going to be one. Will be this video. So you'll kind of see something going in the background there. If you were doing like a switcher cast with an iPad or with your computer, That's a great way where you can just crop down to the bottom of the screen or just have that be what's showing here. People have used Pro Presenter really well with that, so that's a good way to do it. Not perfect, like you can create that directly within the app, but it is a way to get a scrolling or a moving lower third. Great question, though. Any tips with using DJI Osmo? Angela, you want to take this one? There are times times it connects and other times we cannot. I'm going to let you take that one if you don't mind while I check out some of these other questions here.
Yeah. So, first of all, for anyone who does not know what that is, the DJI Osmo Mobile is a separate device by the company DJI. You can place an iPhone in there, connect it with Bluetooth, and from there you can, on your main iPad or iPhone, drag your finger on the screen and cause it to pan and tilt. So it's a really way to adjust how the camera is angled from where you're sitting with the main switcher. You can use the DJI Osmo 1, 2, and 3, confirmed. The fourth one was just released. We're doing some testing on that to make sure that's cool. If you are having issues, keeping it stable, the first thing I always recommend is power off the DJI, power off the Bluetooth on your iPhone. Wait about 10 seconds, turn them on. A lot of times that fixes the issue. If you're still having problems, I recommend basically, starting it from scratch. So make sure, first of all, you've got that DJI app still on your iPhone. Go through the pairing process in the iPhone on the DJI app. Make sure it's working well in the app. Of course, make sure the DJI is charged as well. Sometimes it's just the battery power is low. Once you confirm that's working, then pair it back up with Switcher Studio again. Normally just that repairing will fix all the connection issues that can be going on. Again, low battery, even if it's not completely dead, will cause it to kind of lag. Another big one is, remember Bluetooth in general does not have a great range. This isn't just for Switcher. This is for any Bluetooth thing. If you have a Bluetooth speaker and you walk to the next room, it starts kind of skipping. So it might just be a thing where, the connection was paired before the iPhone was in the DJI, and that can also cause that disconnect. So make sure the iPhone is snugly in that cradle, pair it up, and that way they are perfectly synced. From there, if you do continue to have any issues, send an email to support@switcherstudio.com. You'll get me or Dan or one of the other awesome members of our support team, and we'll be able to do some more kind of advanced troubleshooting and help to make sure that is working. And again, for any of you guys who are wanting that DJI Osmo Mobile 4, we are doing some testing to confirm it is working. If you have one, feel free to post in this group the results you've seen, because that does help us. And also, it has to be the mobile. If you guys buy just the DJI Osmo, which is the camera that is not compatible with Switcher Studio, it does need to be one of the 3 mobile options.
Yes, that's great. The thing I see the biggest being an issue is people with multiple Osmos and them trying to connect to other devices. So just for getting all the Bluetooth connections and starting from scratch, a lot of times will fix it. That's great. Thank you for that, Angela. I see another one here. How could you consider the possibility to add music on the live stream? That's something you can actually do right now with like an audio mixer, or you could create a video clip that doesn't have any. It's just like a black video, and you have like a multi-view that doesn't show up. The best way to do it would be connecting a computer or something through an audio mixer to get music in. That's not something that's available right now, just directly within Switcher.
And on that note, I do want to, because we see this come up sometimes, Switcher Studio does not, censor any music, but a lot of platforms do, and depending on the platform is how severe it is. You can kind of get away with it. With Twitch, they will let most music go as long as it's not your whole entire stream. But Facebook especially, and YouTube, are very strict when it comes to copyrighted music. So if you are going to be streaming on Facebook or YouTube or even Twitch as a precaution, you might want to look into bringing in some royalty-free music where it's an open copyright. If they do catch, copyrighted music playing, even if it's just in the background of a restaurant you're in, a lot of times they will stop your live video. So you'll still think you're live, and it really stopped on your Facebook page or your YouTube channel a while back. And unfortunately, if you repeatedly do that, they will actually suspend you from streaming for 7 days, then 30 days. And again, that's nothing we can do from our end. But do keep in mind the platform you use. Some platforms will let you do whatever you want, but do look at the copyright laws for music with the platform that you're using and kind of go from there.
Yes. Yes, all the cameras must be on the same Wi-Fi. If you want to connect them, of course, as Angela and I talked about earlier with the video chat, you can have the people in different locations. So, yes, we kind of talked about that one. Someone wants to know, can we add a dynamic logo on Switcher Studio? You can use our presets, and I can show that real quick. Let me come over here. So we do have the presets. If you want to create something yourself and bring it in, unfortunately, that's not available right now. Just the way Apple handles alpha video that has the background, it doesn't work great. So we're exploring some options, but no real news on that. Bring in one yourself. But yeah, if you come in and tap the plus button, come over to text and graphics, and some of these will kind of come in and out. So for instance, these lower thirds we can create, these are all adjustable, so you can change the text colors, move it around on the screen just by dragging it. Again, those are the lower thirds. We do have some titles you saw at the beginning. We use this one with one that just said live soon. Here's where you can bring in some logos or donation overlays, things like that. So we do have a lot of presets, but no, you cannot create your own right now. Action replay is a great idea, a great feature request. We've considered it and looked into some options, but nothing available right now. I saw JC hopped in the comments here. Thank you, JC, to clarify that the scoreboard is indeed available to all-in plans. That includes the essentials. So yeah, anyone who's out there wanting to use the scoreboard, eat your heart out. You're able to.
Scores for everyone.
Yeah. I see Pamela here. If I'm going live in Facebook and I'm using all my devices to film and switch, I'm guessing somebody else needs to be logged in from the other device to monitor the comments. You're able to actually do that from here. So let me get rid of this down here. So if I come over to the comments tab, if you're going live and you haven't scheduled an RTMP, you'll just tap load comments and they'll start showing up in there. I always like to have a second device myself that I'm monitoring the stream with. I put the quality at as low as possible, just so it doesn't eat up the internet bandwidth, but I like to keep that there. Obviously it's not going to do anything because we're not live to Facebook here, but yeah, your comments can show up in there. You're actually able to tap on those comments and send them as part of your live video as well. Okay, what else do we have here when you're in the meeting? Okay, I think I saw a couple questions here talking about audio monitoring. So I keep switching our things and going back to it. I should just keep this up. And audio monitoring specifically with video chat. So I need to figure out where I put it since we adjusted them. Of course, there is on the audio tab too, you can turn off audio monitoring. This makes it so you can't hear yourself. That's okay. That's what I'm doing right now. Of course, I am hosting from my iPad as well. There is the option that you see in video chat here to turn off host from this device, meaning you're managing your video chat from somewhere else. And if you're doing that, you'll need to connect headphones to that device that you're hosting from. So if the computer that's in front of me here, is what I was hosting from. That is what I'm going to want to monitor my audio on. You'll also want to make sure that you mute the main audio here in Switcher so it's not picking you up twice, or else you'll get an echo. So yeah, try turning your audio monitoring off first there, and if you're hosting, make sure you're listening in on the right device. Those are great questions, and that can be tricky. So thank you for asking those. Okay, I see someone else here saying, if you adjust camera settings like white balance, are the settings fixed, or does the iPhone adjust the settings as soon as the light conditions change? So I think what we're talking about there is, here, I'll go back to here. If you adjust them, so let's say that the light got really bright and I need to darken up my video with the exposure, you can do it here. And if you put it back on auto, it's going to do it automatically. Or you can come in, and once you make the adjustment how you like it, you tap this lock. Now it's not going to change. It will never change, even if the light conditions change. So you'd have to come back in and adjust them. So if you're worried about those conditions and them changing, I recommend keeping those on auto. The problem with auto and focus, and that's one I think is really good to keep in manual or lock once you like it, is you see that popping in and out. That can be a lot of times the camera having trouble figuring out what it should be focusing on, so it'll switch a bunch, and that can be distracting to the viewer. So that's one I very highly recommend adjusting, getting it how you like it, and locking it. Great question, though. Marcus, stay tuned. We're working on this. I don't have a timeline on when exactly it's available, but I'm hoping sooner rather than later. Is there a way for camera feed to transition automatically? Another question here I see is it possible to make presets for certain scenes for cameras in the software? That's not available right now. That's another thing that we are exploring and want to continue exploring. So hopefully maybe later this year or sometime we'll have something for you all. I don't want to make any promises though, but that is something I know that is being talked about. GIF and animated graphics unfortunately aren't possible within Switcher Studio right now. So yeah, you'd have to either do a multi-view like I showed earlier to have the ticker across the bottom, or share your computer screen or something to have that sort of option.
There's I think it's still on there. I think there's a Help Center article with another hack for it, where if you use a website like Jiffy, you can download them as a video, as an MP4. So if you do that, and then you upload it as a video source in Switcher Studio, some people will do a picture-in-picture, so that way it just shows really tiny in there. So it's still not perfect. It's not, just the image coming up on the screen, but that way it does play, the full thing. And of course you can put that up whenever you want. So there is, I'm pretty sure, still a tutorial in the Help Center that shows that. If there's not, but that's something you're interested in, again, write to support Switcher Studio, and, I can go over with you guys how to use picture-in-picture to put in any kind of video images. And again, that's that multi-view effects tab that we were talking about earlier.
Glad to see my pictures looking great. Someone said, Dan, your picture quality is great. What kind of camera is that? This is an iPhone 7 Plus I'm using here. Angela, of course, is connected via the video chat, so she's probably using the webcam on her computer. Is that right, Angela?
It's a USB webcam, 1080 Logitech, but it's still at my mom's house. I think this is like a 2013 that I purchased, so it's old. Again, iPhone quality is a lot better than a really old webcam. So.
Honestly, one of the things that I will say that helps greatly is getting good lighting. So if you can make the lighting really good, that helps out a ton as well. I'll just show you as well. This camera here that's pointing is an iPhone 6s Plus is what I'm using for that angle there. Moving on to some other questions here. I see Pamela is figuring this out as we're live. I love that. I love seeing, and she had a question and then she responded and said, hey, she got it working. So awesome. Let us know how it goes. Someone asking, so I need my headphones on to hear the person I'm in the room with. You don't need, if you're hosting from the main device, we actually have a good echo cancellation. So it's not necessary, but it's highly recommended to use headphones with video chat. It just sounds great and will look a little bit better. And you'll hear better as well. I see how the comments banner is so big, ends up covering the lower thirds. Not able to change the size right now. That's an interesting thought. I haven't thought of that. That's something I will bring up to our engineers. So that's a great thought. And then Marcus here is asking, what do you recommend for lighting when using cameras? It really depends. I think if you search switcherstudio.com/blog, we have a great blog section. If you search Switcher Studio and like lighting recommendations, a blog post will probably come up. Let me do this. Let me go back to a tube of Angela. Oh, this is going to be really bright, isn't it? Here's what I'm using. Let me, whoops. There's my camera.
There you go.
Yeah, that's what I'm using here. I don't know if you can see that. This is just a ring light that we found on Amazon or somewhere. It's been a while since we got it, but that's the only light I'm using right now. Soft boxes are great as well. Of course, you don't need to spend a ton of money to get started on this stuff. The quickest and easiest ways to get better lighting with your video is make sure there's not a window behind you. So many people want like that nice aesthetic and have like a window behind them. That just lets in a ton of light and will blow out your video and make it harder to see your face. So even if you just turn your whole setup around so the window is facing you, that's going to add a whole bunch more light onto you or your subject and just make the image much, much better. So,
and a lot of times things in your house are good to start out with too, because the goal is, add more light and then you can always upgrade the light. So I tell people a lot of times, look for, a lamp that you can move or something and put it close to you, see how it looks. If you have one of the, more yellow light bulbs, go to really any store. A lot of them will actually say now how good the lighting is for like photos and stuff. Get one of the more like bright white bulbs, put it in just a normal lamp you have, and that's something to get started with. And then, as you can, upgrade to a ring light or, professional softbox lighting or something like that. But a lot of times people think they need a huge investment at the start, and really a lot of times you can do a simple fix to get a great result, and then you can continue to improve on that result. So don't be afraid to look around your home for, what could really help you out. A lot of times people also have those clips, the clippy ring lights that you can put on your phone, and those are about $10 on Amazon. A lot of people will take those and clip it to something near them, and that's still giving a great light as well.
Yeah, I really like one I use at my home a lot when I don't have the giant ring light. Iographer, it's like the letter I, like you'd see with Apple devices, then Ographer. If you search them, they have a desk ring light, and I've been using that a ton, and it's been awesome. So that's great. I'm going to go through these last questions here real quick. We try and keep these videos to about 45 minutes, but if you do have more questions, you can leave them here and we'll be able to follow up or, answer them in other ways as well. Clarence, yes, I am using Switcher, and I will show you that. That's going to be the last thing I do. I see it down here. We'll set it up over here so you can see exactly how I'm doing it. The DJI Maverick Pro 2 drone as a camera. We can't bring in other devices other than iOS. So what you could do is screen share an iOS device that has the drone video, and bring that in. So we've done that before. If you search on YouTube, of course I'll plug our YouTube channel here. If you just search Switcher Studio, or it's at Switcher Studio on YouTube. If you go there and search Switcher Studio drone, you'll see some examples of us doing that and how we've set it up. So while you can't bring that direct camera in, you can capture the screen from from an iPad or iPhone that is controlling the drone. 4 shots off one camera, angle shot, not possible right now. Again, maybe something we can explore down the road. And is it possible to increase the sound of the video chat guest? They'll have to do it on their end. Unfortunately, we can't control their mic remotely. A lot of times, if they're too loud, just having them move away from the mic, or if they're too soft, moving closer to the mic is enough to fix the problems. But yeah, you'll have to troubleshoot that possibly before you go live. So yeah, Clarence again was asking, how am I doing this? So I have the multi-view set up with the background image. Let's do that. So let me show you. Here is 1, 2, and 3. So I'll set it up right over here so you see it. The plus button come into these multi-views, and I'm using the grid. This is one I really like. So you can have 4. You can actually have up to 9 with this. But what we're doing here is 3 or 2. Now you see it's just black right now. Well, we can come in here and choose a different background image and go into the photo library and see it. And there's just tons of my daughter there. So yeah, choose a background image. I'm just going to do a different color for right now. And we can come in. You can save these as well to make them exactly, or like colors that are typical that you use a lot, or if you have like a hex key, you can put them in right here. And then when I tap done, you'll see I have that option down here where I can come in and then choose my 2 sources. And then of course you have like the lower thirds that you can bring in. Here's again the YouTube channel. So yeah, that's how we're doing it. That's how I'm doing it here. Let me go back here. Yeah, so like I said, we kind of have to stop these at some point. So, and we're trying to keep about 45 minutes, but I would like to take this time to thank you all for tuning in. There's some great suggestions and great questions here this week. So, if we didn't get to your question here, we will be responding to those in the comments. You can also search our help center at support.switcherstudio.com. Or as always, email us at support@switcherstudio.com. Angela, thank you as well for doing the full tutorial there at the beginning. I appreciate that. Saved me from having to talk the whole time as well. So yes, thank you all again for joining us. Let us know how Switcher's working for you, and please reach out if you have any questions.
See you guys.